Alex Lambert, welcome to the Raised Rowdy podcast.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Joined here with my co-host, Nick
Tressler.
I'm Kurt Ozon. We're going to podcast. Thank you for coming, dude. This is great.
We know it's a little chilly in here, but it's always hot or cold, so at least it's not super hot.
Yes, I prefer the cold over the hot.
Yeah, same.
I get a little aggravated in the heat.
Oh, my God, Sam.
Tough.
I can't handle it. I grew up in South Florida, and I'm like, I'm moving out of here as soon as possible. I moved to Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, coming from Texas, same thing. But I didn't realize Nashville gets pretty hot.
It gets brutal.
It
August
pretty
is
hot.
horrible. Hottest show I ever played was in Austin, and we were opening for Darius. We had like the first slot, and it was like we played at like 7 right in the westward facing amphitheater, and all my guitars were out of tune. And I walked over and I sat at my steel, and I picked up my bar, and I couldn't hold it because it got so hot. Like it was a horrible show. I'm like, why am I doing this?
This is the most first world problems ever here.
Yes. The best part about playing with, Luke is that we don't play during the day anymore, which is great.
Just the nighttime.
You don't have to worry about this brutal heat. Ugh.
Well, you're probably still playing at big festivals during the day, huh?
Man,
if you're at big festivals,
I've hardly been playing any festivals yet. Yeah. We're not quite there yet.
Well, you'll take the daytime then. You're like, whatever.
I will take the daytime.
Yeah.
Yes, I will sweat.
So let's talk about. I know that you have some upcoming shows that we're gonna talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So let's discuss that. Who are you playing with? Who is in your band?
Well, I was lucky enough to meet you on the cruise.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we became friends, I think.
Yes, we're friends.
Okay, we're officially
I'm saying
friends.
it. I'm
It's official
outing
today.
us on the pod now. Yes.
All right, cool. So you and the rest of the boys.
Yes. So Alex that's for the Eddie's Attic show, and then we're playing Whiskey Jam,
That's great.
and we're playing at the soccer stadium, which is going to be sick.
know,
that's
so
gonna be
So
sick.
Alex is borrowing Luke's band for those shows.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. He did a great job putting them together. So
I know.
True.
I don't even want to play with them because I know that after that I'm just going to be
Spoiled? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
We'll see. It depends on if you guys learn the tunes or not.
Yes.
I have a
Kurt will,
feeling
for
you're just
sure.
going to show up and just
No, I'll do my homework. I promise. Just not this week because I'm busy, but next week is fine. So
of.
you said that we met on a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit because Luke's manager, Cappy, God bless him, has for the second year in a row taken out all the artists that he works with on this amazing cruise. I guess it's not a cruise; it's a yacht.
It's a yacht.
And you're supposed to enjoy the difference or whatever.
I feel weird saying yacht though.
I know.
No, it
It's
feels
all rich
great,
people
though.
shit that like we can't afford to do, but Cappy can, so he brings us. And he's got the hookup because he used to work at the cruise thing. But that's where we really got to hang the most. And that's where I got to hang with Colby last year. So him and I became good friends on that. And so we, went to bars on islands and did all this fun stuff. But the best part was the jam.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the best part of the jam was Alex Lambert. I really, truly do think
you,
that.
Dude. I had so much fun.
I think everyone agrees too because there's all these artists on this boat, yacht, whatever. And so the wall of like, I'm an artist, I'm important, gets broken down. Everyone's just singing. It felt like being at a bonfire party or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Nico Moon, Cooper Allen, who else is singing? Meg Patrick,
Castellos.
yeah.
Keller.
Yeah, Mitchell Tenpenny, all the people that were there got up and sang. And they're singing covers, like Nico sang Sublime and Mitchell sang Creed. But when you sang, that's when everyone started dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of like what your music has the most is like, it's just got that soul and it just makes people want to dance for
I think
sure.
I also got lucky because I got up right when everyone began to get pretty shit-faced.
Yes, true.
So it was like the perfect combination.
Good timing.
But I could feel it. I was like, oh, the room's getting loud. Let's turn up.
Yeah.
And we just did a twist and shout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which crushed. And then when it got quiet, everyone got started dancing low, and everything. And then what else we do? Oh, we did Elvis also.
Yeah. Hound Dog.
Yeah. That crushed, man.
Yeah, that's my stuff, dude. I love those. I've played those songs like a million times. So I was like, I'm drunk right now.
Same. Well, not right
What
now,
can
well,
I do?
Then I was.
What can I do and not mess it up? 3 chords and yell some.
yeah.
Oh, man, my voice was... I didn't even sing. My voice was gone the next day.
Dude, my voice is still recovering.
Yeah, alcohol is not good for your singing voice, it turns
No.
out.
Yeah.
No, but it's good for having fun in the short term.
That is true.
Absolutely.
Until it ain't. By the third day, I was like, who am I?
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Well, the cruise last
don't
year was
even-
1 day longer, so imagine that.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw all the guys coming back because we intersected at the airport, and I was like, they look like shit. I met all the Flatland guys.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
And everyone just looked dead. Dylan, right, my
Yeah.
manager as well. And I was like, this is how we're going to feel next year.
Oh yeah.
And it was true. Absolutely brutal. But it was super fun, man. And I think you just rock the house. And your voice is, I mean, it's amazing. Absolutely. Like, it's
Thanks,
awe-inspiring hearing this guy sing in person. Truly.
Thank you, dude.
But I will say that your sound is not your typical Nashville thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Give our listeners a little, give us, kind of like what your sound is.
Well,
Paint us a picture
I
here.
call my sound Texas soul. I'm
It's definitely soul for 100%.
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, so I just call it Texas soul. It's just soul music. I grew up on like soul and blues and stuff like that, so that's all I do is like I pretty much just a soul and blues singer and guitar player.
All right.
I remember the first time I heard you is I think when you maybe announced signing to Make Wake and you were in town. I think it was like last year, and I heard you sing. I think it was a whiskey jam, maybe.
Okay.
Was that one of your first in town shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been Basement or Whiskey Jam.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's super cool because Nashville, we are blessed with so many great songwriters, so many great singers. One of the things I talk about is like, how do you stand out in the crowd? Well, your vocal stands out in the crowd
Thank you.
for sure. Yeah,
Thanks, Nick.
absolutely. Yeah, it's cool to get to see that and get to see how wide of a base the artists over at Make Wake are, right? Of course, like your thing's not exactly like a lot of the other things,
yeah.
but that's kind of what makes it great.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm trying to figure out. I've been, since I moved into town, I've been trying to figure out where I fit in this like Nashville world. And
Yeah.
I think for a while I was trying to be something that I wasn't. And the moment that I started making the songs that I wanted to make is when I felt a shift and I felt immediate growth. You
Yeah.
know, so
We
yeah.
We know you got a single coming out, so tell us about the new single. At this point, when this comes out, you will have released it, but tell us about the single.
When does this come out?
It should be next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a new single. It's out this Friday, but if you're watching it now, it's out last Friday.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's called Stroll,
Yep.
and it's very blues. It's very like 60s rock and roll, and I think it kicks ass, and I hope you guys like it too.
I can't wait to hear it. Did you co-write that, or did you write it yourself?
Yeah, I
or?
co-wrote it with actually Keller Cox.
Oh, we
Nuh-uh.
love Keller.
I co-wrote it with Keller and my good buddy Andrew Beeson.
Awesome.
All right. I'm wearing Keller's watch right now.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and we had him on the pod too for the
Keller's,
second time.
Keller's the sweetest guy, and
Literally.
the song isn't that sweet. So
You got to get him out of his.
I wonder
comfort
if he's
zone.
gonna share it. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little,
Yeah.
It's a little sexy, you know.
Oh yeah.
So your music is so different than what's here in Nashville. I wonder what brought you here as opposed to like staying in Texas.
Well, I was doing music in Texas for about a year. I could go into like the full backstory, but just the last 5 years, I was in Texas, and I just felt like I wanted to be around more creative people. I felt like it was like very seldom I'd hang out with other singers or songwriters, and there was just very few. And here in Nashville, everybody you meet plays the guitar or plays an instrument and writes songs. So I just felt like I needed songs, and I needed to, you know what I mean, some inspiration. And this town is so inspiring to me. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so that's the main reason I moved to town, just for inspiration.
It's life-changing, man.
That's right.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like we were at a Corey's wedding, and there was post karaoke after that we talked about, and it's just hearing the level of singer in karaoke even here when you're at
Stupid.
something like that. It's just so silly,
I know, it's crazy.
It probably, I mean, I'm sure it's inspiring, but I'm also sure it's like you got to make sure you're on your A game all the time when there's other people that are that good all around everywhere.
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. They're like, why didn't you stay in Texas? There's less competition. I'm like, it ain't competition like that. Like
No.
art is so subjective. My
Yes.
art is so much different than a lot of the people's art here in Nashville. So it's more like I just try to get better. I just try to get better for me. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I'm not trying to like compete with anybody, but You definitely do got to be on your A game.
Yeah.
You're right though.
Yeah.
'Cause everybody's so good here.
Yeah.
And I feel like being like exposed to people that are just so talented, like it happens to me like literally daily, that it's just like your bar is just set higher. And so like what is acceptable, what is a good song, what does a good guitar player sound like or whatever is like always higher. You know?
Yeah.
It's like I was at Losers last night after the wedding and the house band was playing and this dude on guitar was like shredding. I'm like, this guy sounds incredible, you know?
He's just like some guy.
Yeah. And I'm
Exactly.
like, all right, I got to go home and practice.
Yeah.
Well, go and drink some water and then practice the next day. Yeah.
I remember someone told me one time, they're like, if you want to find the best drummer in the room, just go in the kitchen and he's in there cooking your food.
Or, hey, bartender.
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those towns where everybody's doing that, but it's also one of those towns where like everybody's willing to grind and do whatever it takes to
That's right.
get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
So, which is I think also inspiring for me. You know,
Very.
the great music, of course, is great, but I'm not a musician. I'm not an artist. You know, so like just the work ethic that I get to see here of so many songwriters and so many artists and so many musicians is really inspiring for me.
Oh, for sure. And those songwriters, it's a whole nother thing. They write songs like it's a 9-to-5 job. They
Yeah.
get up every morning and like clock in, you know. It's different. It's a interesting culture that I think mainly just lives here.
Yeah.
Like if you go to Los Angeles or New York City or wherever else they make music, they ain't punching in the like every day, you know.
Yeah.
Most people ain't making music in the morning either.
Yeah.
Except
You see
here.
people that are doing the nighttime writes and things like
yeah,
that.
yeah. When
That's
I
where you
lived
get
in
those-
LA, everyone wrote at night.
Yeah.
All the
yeah,
sessions started like at 1 or 2. Here it's like 10, 11.
Oh, yeah.
It's starting to get some noon sessions though.
Oh, yeah.
Which I prefer. But
Well, and later too. Like I remember when I was over at Big Loud, you'd see them bring like artists over late at night. You know, like after the bar sometimes even and write. You
get
know.
like a hip hop session in.
Yeah,
Those dudes will
almost.
start at like midnight
Yeah.
and work till like 6 in the morning.
It's crazy.
It's kind of cool, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
So you have the new single that you're dropping. What more songs do you have? Do you have like additional songs you're planning to release throughout the year? Or what's the
So
plan?
so we got some more stuff, but I don't want to like talk about it too much
Yeah.
because we haven't really announced anything yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got a lot of songs. I
Awesome.
recorded a ton last year in Los Angeles, so
Cool.
we're gonna be releasing new music.
Awesome.
A lot of new music this year.
Who do you have a producer you work with often or?
Yeah, I work with my buddy Stefan Litt.
Cool.
He's a producer out in LA who's amazing. He's
Awesome.
a cool drummer. He used to drum for like Billy Ray Cyrus and
Whoa.
Andy Grammer and some other cool people, but he's a good producer as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. So you were speaking of songs, you were saying like some people clock in. Is that not how you're writing? Are you
No.
do you write a lot? Like how do you write different than the way people in Nashville do? Obviously,
I
your
write
music's
with
different,
the
but-
people in Nashville, so I do write like you know what I mean? But like I prefer to like let it hit me.
Yeah.
And that's how mostly I get my best songs. And then I found that if I take that spark of whatever it is of creativity that I get, and I take it to guys in Nashville that I think are dope, then we polish it and make it amazing. Because sometimes I don't make sense when I write songs. Because a lot of times it just comes out of me.
Yeah.
I've heard someone told me it's a chain of consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's kind of mostly how I write, and then either I think it's done and I just say put a stamp on it, or I'll take it to somebody and help me finish it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's generally you start with solo rights and then bring people in.
90% of the time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man.
That's actually awesome because you'll hear so many people that say artists don't come with ideas. It sounds like you're coming with the
Yeah.
majority of the idea
Yeah.
done.
Well, I just like it's easy to let your music go somewhere you don't want it to go if you don't like have the, you know what I mean, the concept and like the vibe of it. A lot of times it's just the vibe.
Yeah.
The progression and the groove. It's like if I can dictate that and walk in the room with like a foundation of a song,
Yeah.
people here are great at lyrics and top line. That's like the main thing, and obviously melody and everything else. But I feel like the top line writers, there's like a million poets in this town.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everyone's trying to turn a phrase, and it's badass.
It
Yeah,
is
it's great.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
not my strong suit. It's not my strong suit, and I know
Me
that.
neither.
Yeah.
But that's what the great part about this town is you
Mm-hmm.
find what your strong suit is, you pair that with other people that have other strengths, and then probably every time you write with someone that does those things, you get a little better at it.
That's true. That's
you know?
right. I was gonna say that you do get better.
Just more reps.
Have you ever done the clock in, clock out thing? I know it's not your preferred way of writing, but I'm kind of interested to see what would happen if you like challenge yourself to write, 3 times a week or something for a month.
Well, when I first signed my publishing deal, I was.
Congrats on that, by
Congrats,
the
man.
way.
Thank you, guys.
Where's that at?
Sony. And
Awesome.
with Sony
Right on.
last year, and they were like, I didn't have a lot going on, so they were just like booking me
Load it
like
up.
4 or 5 days a week. So I was
Okay,
like,
so you have done that.
I
kind.
have done that,
Yeah.
and some of the songs are amazing, but it's funny because you just write a lot of just like,
Mid
you know what I
stuff,
mean,
yeah.
mid stuff, because you're just like, I'm like at the end of the week, I'm like, I don't even know like what I'm doing. Like this is, I'm writing so many songs. I listen back to them like, is this good? I don't even know.
I know Paul McCartney said it's like you got to write like 1,000 bad songs to get to your first good one.
Yeah.
So
that
get
is
some of those out of the way, maybe. I'm sure
Yeah,
they weren't
yeah.
bad if you're, getting
Oh, they were
booked right.
bad.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, probably better than mine, but
I remember hearing on a podcast, someone else was like, one of the publishers in town was like, yeah, right around like when you write 250 songs, you really start to like get it, and that seems like a crazy number, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean, if you are professionally writing, if you're writing 4 days a week, 5 songs or 4 songs a week, you can get there pretty quick.
Yeah, I think I had to take a step back.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm doing too many songs.
Yeah.
I want to have like less badass songs and not as many, like, just because I was pumping out so many tunes that I was like, it's too much. This ain't me.
Yeah.
yeah, I
So,
heard that.
Yeah.
Well, especially if
yeah.
you're writing for yourself, you know what I mean? You have to feel that it is to you. Is that how you're often going into rooms? Like,
Yeah, most of the time,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, let's write for. And I ask my publisher all the time, like, are we writing for me? They're like, yes, you're
Yeah.
writing for you all the time. And I'm like, God, because sometimes I'll write with other artists, and I'm like,
Yeah.
let's write for your stuff. But something that's really nice is when that we'll do like a sync camp, and we'll write for like Yellowstone or something.
Yeah.
And they'll just be like, hey, Yellowstone's looking for this. That's fun because then I can get out of my own way a little bit and be a Western country boy for a couple
cowboy,
days.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fun because it's like it takes a little pressure off.
it seems like that would scratch a different itch,
Oh,
For
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
And they give you direction already.
Yeah.
I know, like, I was talking to Cleto, and when they wrote Wool, they were like, all right, here's the scene in the movie. This is what we want you to think about. And he just, like, sat down in a couple hours, wrote this incredible song.
So great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Ooh.
it's just such an interesting thing just hearing all the different ways of it too,
Yeah, for sure.
So, what would you say about your solo writing style? Is it different than when you have co-writers in the room style wise, or is it just depends on the song?
When you say style, do you mean like how I write the song? Or is
Yeah.
it- oh, yeah. It's way different. Just because I like to write with a pencil and a paper.
Yep.
And when you're doing that with other people, it's like a burden.
Yeah.
Slow.
It's because they're like, it's in the doc, and everyone creates a Google Doc, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I tried that for a little bit, and I felt like, okay, I'm like pissing people off, so when I'm alone, I'll just sit right and be like, okay, what am I trying to say here? You know?
Yeah.
And I focus so much better when I'm alone, So
And the problem with doing it on the note, too, like on your phone, is then you're holding your phone the whole time.
Yeah.
And you're
And
just
then you're
IG.
like, there it is, dude. Yeah,
TikTok.
Instagram or
It's
check
like
your email or
your
whatever.
friend texts you something funny,
Yeah.
and you're just
Yeah.
like,
And you're like watching some, that happens to me too. It's like I'm trying to find a rhyme, so I'm like, let me just Google what rhymes with orange, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm on Instagram now. God, it gets me.
yeah, that's true.
You're stuck in the
Yeah,
abyss.
dude, just habits.
Yeah.
But I bet if you enjoy writing that way, then obviously do that, and that's what you are doing. Because if you do it a way that you don't like, then you could make bad habits, possibly like bad writing habits, maybe.
Yeah.
like be lazy or just trying to get something done, or however that works.
Yeah, when I write with people who like get what I'm trying to do, for the most part, we will make some fire. But it's like it's a lot of times you're writing with new people.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to figure out who your people are. But luckily, we've kind of started to figure out who our folks are.
Yeah,
and
that's
then it's
great.
been nice to like kind of. I'll walk in and they'll be like, "Hey, I was thinking about you, and I thought this kind of vibe would be good for your record or whatever." So that helps a ton.
Yeah.
And I've learned to let go a little bit of the creative process and like really take in those ideas and be open about it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do everything all the time. But,
That's exactly
you know,
right.
no man's
Yeah.
an island, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some people are, but not many.
True. And I know like a lot of artists, they get the people they like writing with, and it's like that's like their tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's a good way to, I mean, a lot of people talk about it like it's therapy, right? So it's like you're getting something out even when you're talking about someone else's story.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also a good way to get to know people because people that are coming in the room, even if they don't know you, are getting to hear part of your story that you're willing to share, right? And you guys are coming out with something that you're either proud of or maybe not even proud of, but you get to kind of share your journey with them, you know?
For sure. Yeah, that's
So
fun.
I think that's cool.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
It's like a special connection that all musicians like kind of have through music is like when you start playing, they're just like, oh yeah, I know you like that band and you like it. And it's just like, okay, we're friends now.
Mm-hmm.
I just like spilled my heart to you today, so we have to be friends or else this is weird.
Feels weird.
Yeah. Did you and Alan get to write it all, or
No, we didn't get to write. We talked about doing a writing session, but we haven't written yet.
tell me about that collab because that's so sick, dude.
Yeah, it was so unreal. So Alan Stone let me get up and do a couple songs at his show in here in Nashville at the Analog. He did like a Alan Stone and Friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like Stephen Day, Madison Ryan Ward, and some other folks got up. And these are all artists that I've just like been listening to for years. And
Yeah.
I've been listening to Alan for like 10 years. So the fact that he hit me up and was like, yo, come do.
Oh, he hit you up.
He slid in my DMs and was
No
like,
way, dude. Congrats. That's sick.
I know, it was really cool. It was really cool.
Wow.
I
You
know.
just check your phone and you're like, oh, man.
I know. My
He's a
blood
legend,
just
dude.
pumping.
Yeah.
Just like, what are we going to do? He was like, just choose, like, we'll do one of your songs, we'll do one of my songs. And I was just sitting there for like days, like, ooh, they ain't ready. We
That's
ended
the
up doing
best.
Is This Love, the Bob Marley tune.
Sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. He was so nice, too. Such a good dude and made me feel like immediately welcome. And, you know, his fans were like next level cool, too. So,
And did he sing on one of your songs?
yeah, we just played Crying in the Rain.
And did he like practice and learn your song?
He learned it. He learned the chords, but he didn't take a verse. You know, lyrics are harder to...
Yeah, for sure.
And he had like a full event going on, so I don't... Yeah.
But he was jamming up there.
He was jamming. We was jamming, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
Jaw bless, dude. I'm pretty sure we sang some Bob Marley on the boat at some point.
Yeah, I thought... I like had 2 or 3 prepared. I was like, I'm going to play Bob because we're going to be in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And then I think I just drank too many beverages.
Same.
Cervezas.
Yeah, it'd be that
Por
way
favor.
sometimes.
It do be like that.
What kind of beers did they have on the yacht? Modelo's or
All of them.
Bud Light, Miller Lite I drank. And then there's like some beer that was on
Carib.
on all the islands.
Yeah.
yeah.
Carib.
That's
Yeah.
what I was kind of wondering if they had that on the boat too, if it was just like when you got on the island.
I feel like it was just on the island.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken.
I've got this funny video on my phone. I need to post it. It's hilarious. Of these guys, they take a I guess it'd be like a dinghy or whatever boat up to the yacht, and I'm watching them just load case after case of beer like onto the boat. I'm like, I'm the reason these guys are having to do this right now.
Hey, at least they got some work, you know?
Yeah, true.
They're probably not complaining.
Well, speaking of collabs, you also got to collab with the Jonas Brothers.
Yes. I don't know. Yes, I got to play a song at their show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, again, slid in the DMs. The power of social media.
Yeah, what a blessing.
I know, what a blessing it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, he like followed me a long time ago from Crying in the Rain. And then he was just like, yo, I have like my favorite artists up at the halftime show because they're doing like they do their whole
Intermission.
their intermission. And he was like, get up like halfway through and do your tune. And shit was wild.
Oh.
Is that at Bridgestone?
It was at Capital One Arena in DC.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
That's
it was
so
nuts.
crazy.
It was crazy to just like it was like wild, dude. There was like a spotlight on me, and it was my first time. I've never used in-ears before, which is kind of wild, but I just got like molded for it. But it was my first time with the in-ears. The spotlight's on me. I'm fucking freaking out because I've never played an arena before, and I'm just looking at all these like it's like feels like a million 30-year-old women, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And they were
Nice.
just screaming.
We love that.
It was the
Slide into those DMs, women.
It was so loud. It was amazing. I got to kick it with Joe for just like a minute, like before I went on and after the show. It was wild. I'm just so blessed.
Those are nice guys, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard really good things about them.
I felt awkward. I walked up. They were about to go on, and and I saw Nick kicking the soccer ball back stage with the drummer, and I was like so nervous. I walked past him and I was like, I didn't think he knew who I was, and he was like, "Happy to have you," and I was like, "Alex Lambert," and he was like, "Nick Jonas." And I was like, this is going to fucking haunt me forever. Why did I do that? I was like, just be cool, be cool. That was not cool.
Man, I've seen, being around Luke, it's watching people meet him and seeing people freak out is just always, it's hilarious. Everyone, has their own way of freaking out, meeting famous people or whatever. But I got to tell a story on the podcast. Colby Acuff's keyboard player, was like, I don't want to say too much, but anyway, he was feeling pretty good. Maybe he had a couple beers.
He was on drugs.
Yeah, he smoked a joint with Cleto, so that's what happened. And we're like, all right, you guys come into Luke's green room. We're all going to hang. And Colby's like, Eric, just be cool, man. He's like, yeah, dude. I'm like, so Colby introduces Luke to him, and Eric goes, oh, my God, oh, my God. Oh my God. And then he goes, hey, can I get a picture of us hugging so I can send it to my dad?
Oh, yeah. You told me this. So it's funny.
And I have the photo. It's hilarious. And Luke's like, yeah, dude, of course we could do that. And so they got this photo of them hugging. It's fucking hilarious, man.
That's so funny.
That's great.
I love you, Eric. He's a good boy. And now we're touring together. But yeah.
I remember like when I first got to my first CMA Fest, I had like a thing I won to go to Eric Church meet and greet. And it was like a pre-show. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be fine. And then when I got up there, I just like mush mouthed so hard, Like I was like, I had this thing in my head that was just little and simple that I was going to say. And then I would just like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, cool.
Oh, you prepared.
That went great.
You had a preparation.
I know. Like I was like,
That's
I'm just going to say this little thing. Yeah. And then it didn't work
You're
at
just
all.
like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, Ricky Bobby. Yeah.
You were going to say, like, thank you for your great music. I love Sinners Like Me. And you were like, thank you for singing with me. I
was like, you're great. I'm like, I'm going to go now. See you later. Yeah.
I've gotten to meet, just by piggybacking off Luke's famousness.
Yeah, like Chad Kroger.
Yeah, or whoever. But, like, when I get to meet James Hetfield, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, Remember when you were in Metallica? That was awesome.
That was sick.
Oh, super wild. It's one of those things too. I always tell Kurt, like, he has the Game Genie on his Nintendo cartridge.
Yes.
You might be
the cartridge of my life.
Yeah.
Game Genie is like a cheat code essentially.
Yeah.
But it was a
is
physical.
It like all the games on one?
So like what it was you'd put the Game Genie on the cartridge and it would have the cheat codes built in and you could use them. So like you didn't have to like type the cheat code in. You just like put it on the disc.
It was a separate cartridge.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I always tell Kurt he has that on his game cartridge. But just because like the things that are normal for his life aren't normal for people's lives,
Yeah, I believe it.
And I think this town is more that than anywhere else I've been. I'm sure LA's like that. I'm sure for some people. I'm sure New York is like that for some people as well. But
I don't
this
know.
place
I
is
don't
crazy.
know anything about that. So
Yeah.
We were for Cora's birthday party at the local, and Zach Brown was just in there hanging out, and he got up and sang a bunch of songs, and him and Corey hugged. And it's just like you see these superstars just hanging out, jamming at a local bar,
Like 100 cap bar. You know?
correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that you're not supposed to like approach like it's a rule, like unwritten.
It's a courtesy, I would say, but
Yeah.
but it was Corey's birthday party, and so we were drinking beers and liquor and stuff. And Zach was just sitting there the whole time, and he got up and played. He's like, I just wrote the song the other day. He got up and played a brand new one. And then by the end of the night, he was there for hours.
Was it
just
a
hanging
round?
out. No,
No.
it was Will Jones's band.
Yeah.
Will and Sam were playing.
Oh.
Yep.
They play like 80s country and
90s
whatever.
country,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
2000s country.
Yep.
And then end of the night, Corey was drunk and he was like, "All right, Zach, I'm singing it with or without you." And they did Colder Weather.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was fun.
Sounds fun.
Corey fell down on stage a little bit, but he tripped over the steel guitar. But that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I deleted the video of that, so it doesn't exist anymore. You know?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like, "Don't post that." I'm like, "I'm deleting it just so I never post it." Yeah.
It'd be tempting.
I need that video.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But it's this town's very much like that. Like you literally could be at any bar anywhere on a random day that has music, and something amazing could happen.
I know. You know what's crazy though is like I don't know a lot of country artists, so I don't ever see that. Like I'll be out and someone will be like, "Hey, that's everyone's name like something Jake or something."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't know who that is. So I don't feel weird about this.
It's kind of a blessing. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
When I first moved to town, I was playing on Broadway, and this girl sang "Kerosene" by Miranda Lambert, but I had never heard that song, or I didn't know who Miranda Lambert was. And we finished the song. I'm like, "That was awesome," and she's like, "Thanks," and I was like, "That song is badass," and she's like, "Do you not know that?"
That's not my song.
Do you not? I'm like, "I've never heard that song before. That's incredible." And she's like, "It's Miranda Lambert." I'm like, "I don't know who that is." She's like, "When did you move to town?" I'm like, "Literally 2 weeks ago." She's like, "Oh, okay. That makes sense."
That's how I feel every day still, and I've been here for 2 years. So.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's some beauty to that though, because I remember like we were hanging out one time, and Kurt was like, "Do you know who that was that we were hanging out with?" And I was like, "No," and he was like, "Well, she was super famous."
Who was it? Do you remember? I don't remember what story this is.
Why can't I think of it right now? Rock band, Lizzie.
Oh, Lizzie Hale.
Yeah, Lizzie Hale.
Oh, yeah, I remember that night.
I was like, I didn't even realize it was her. I was just like hanging out just with Kurt's friends because he's friends with everyone.
Thanks, man.
And he was like, "Oh, that was Lizzie Hale." I was like, "Oh, well, that's ridiculous. I've listened to her music extensively."
Yeah.
You know? But this town's just good for that.
You wouldn't expect it to just be at Red Door or
No,
whatever,
yeah,
you know?
randomly. Yeah.
Red Door's the spot.
What do you guys have any tour dates other than like what you're doing with Kurt?
So yeah, we've got a bunch right now. Like we're not going on like a full tour. We're doing
Yeah.
like fly-in dates, but
Yeah.
I'm calling it a tour.
Yeah.
We're doing we got the 2 Nashville shows and the Eddie's Attic show, and then the following week we're going to I can't even remember because we just booked them all like this week. So it's like we're doing like Brooklyn.
Hey, Brooklyn.
We're doing we're gonna go to Philly for the tailgate thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
That's sick.
Hopefully the fans don't boo me off the stage.
I don't
They
think they will.
won't.
I know. Last time I played it, it was like I'm talking about everybody in the crowd looked just like Luke Combs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
They were
all
like-
some big boys.
I was like, is that him?
We call them lookalikes.
Yeah.
Lookalikes. I like that. That's funny.
That's
yeah,
when
we got
you
a
know
bunch
you're
of
a man of the
shows. I just
people.
can't remember right now, but
Well, people can go on your social media that you'll say, and then they can look it up there.
yeah.
That's very true. How about like a hometown show? You got anything back in Texas?
I do have it. That's the one I was trying to figure out. I'm playing in Fort Worth on
Birdie Social Club.
Birdie Social Club. Tell 'em, Kurt.
April 19th.
Bring your friends.
Yeah.
Yes. What is Birdie Social Club? I've never been there.
It's like an outside 1,000 cap place where you can just party with your friends and listen to music.
Damn,
Sounds blessed.
amazing.
We got to go to Birdie
Just
Social
be
Club.
good Americans out there.
Yeah.
I will.
I like
promise.
being a good American the best.
Yeah.
Mostly while I'm with my friends doing degenerate stuff.
Yes,
Mhm.
and listening to Alex sing.
Yeah.
That's very American.
Yes. Yeah. I also heard some of your stuff that like Charlie that produces our stuff when we have him on the pod had done with you too, and just
Oh yeah, Charlie's the man.
he is the man. Yeah, we love you,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Love you, Charles.
But we when he said that to me, I was like, this is just like your voice is just it's dynamic, man. It really is.
Thank you, dude.
Absolutely.
I'm starting to feel weird though, so you guys got to quit saying it.
Dude, you suck, man. Can't sing for shit.
Charlie's badass though. I remember we recorded this like acoustic video of my song "Crying in the Rain," and we were like, I was like, okay, it'll be a cool little YouTube video. I'll use it for socials. I got it back. I was like, listen to it like just full thing with my eyes closed. I called Dylan, my manager. And I said, We're putting this shit out on Spotify. We're putting this shit out on Spotify. He killed it.
Bro,
Yeah.
you're not the first artist that has done that.
Yeah, that's what happened with Keller too.
And with Caitlin.
Oh yeah.
And with Cledo, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it's happened a bunch of times.
Yeah. It's funny. Like I remember that Kurt was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be your podcast co-host." Like we talked about it, and he's like, "I have my buddy Charlie. He's gonna come help us set up audio." And I was like, "Sick." And it was literally in the living room of my really, really crappy place in Antioch where I moved, which was great. You know, it was a great first place here. But you know, it's literally like a shack living room kind of thing. And we had Nate Frederick, and then we had
Jameson Rogers.
like right after it, and Charlie just didn't even know he was going to be micing us up for performance and just crushed it.
Nice.
And I listened back and I was like, what is going on here? he's great.
Yeah,
but
he's that guy.
yeah, he's one of those
sure.
one of the dudes that like Kurt. I always say if like Kurt recommends someone, then there's good reason, because even if he's not heard someone like talk about their or heard their work, if he hears them talk about their craft, he knows if they know what they're doing or not. You know what I mean? I don't know that stuff, but
Me neither.
Oh.
Thanks for being awesome, Kurt.
yeah, Kurt.
Hey, I love you
You're the
boys.
best,
Thanks.
dude.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm the artist now.
you're not.
No, definitely not.
You are an artist.
Yeah,
You are
absolutely.
an artist.
Art of some kind for sure. Podcast artist.
So where
Yeah.
did the name Raised Rowdy? I'm sure you guys have talked about it a lot on the
I
podcast.
Yeah.
don't think we've ever.
We haven't, but I have back in the day. Yeah. So I have a crew of buddies that I started going to a country music festival with in Fort Laramie, Ohio, called Country Concert. I know, really creative.
Is that
name.
where you're from?
I'm from Western Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So about 4 hours from this festival. So my buddy Jason got engaged and then got unengaged, and they still went for the bachelor party. But
Unengaged.
then the following year they got re-engaged, and then the wedding actually happened. They're still together. They have 2 beautiful kids.
Wow.
But Jason's second bachelor party, that was the real bachelor party, I got invited to, and these guys had already went for a year. That crew of friends kept going to the festival year after year. Of course, people will bail, and new people will come in. But at some point, someone said, "Gentlemen of leisure," in the group text. It was like a Facebook group text, you know? And then we were like, well, that's not exactly right. So I was like, we got to make it like more us, because we were, pretty wild back then, even more than now. And so we called it the Rowdy Gentlemen of Leisure. So we had like a Twitter page, and we made 25 T-shirts for our crew that went to the festival, and we made like 200 koozies, because I was like the increment you made the koozies in. So T-shirts, people were like, well, how do I get one of those T-shirts? And we were like, you don't. We made enough for us. Our one buddy didn't show up. We could give you this one. But then all my friends were like, hey, you need to start something in this country music world. You're like such a big ambassador for it. You have a good ear. You tell us what's going to be cool before it's cool. And so when I did that, people had like called us the Rowdies. So I was like, well, I want to keep that, because that's like kind of what we were. So me and my business partner at the time, Jacob, that started the company with me, I think it was his wife that came up with Raise Rowdy. We were trying to like rowdy this, something rowdy, and they said Raise Rowdy, and I was like, that's it. So and it kind of like, it's so funny because like Luke's mom, Riley Green's mom, like Charlie from Muscadine Bloodline's mom have all reached out and been like, we raised our kids rowdy, So it's like, it's super cool to hear like the people like get with it, but also like the families, the moms that are like, yeah, we did that, It's super
Moms
cool.
love Raise Rowdy.
They do. It's weird. But yeah, I always say, I'm like, Raise Rowdy, your stepmom's favorite country music site.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it has made it like what we think of Raise Rowdy is kind of like a community and a family. It started out as like a community, a family that like went to shows together, but it's like kind of grown to be a family thing.
Nice.
So while we
Beautiful,
still like
man.
to have fun and party, it's all based in that like group mentality and
Cool.
yeah.
Connecting.
Yeah. And I think we got super lucky with the name in terms of like, we've had so many people that don't even know what it is and are like, that's such a great name.
It is a great
So,
name.
yeah.
Whenever I wear like a hoodie or something in the airport, like there's always some mom that's like, "Were you really raised rowdy? That's so cool." I was like, "Yes."
You're like, no, not really, honestly.
It's like raised middle class. Yeah. Didn't have the same ring, you know.
Yeah, dude.
No, but
You
it's
can be middle class and rowdy.
absolutely,
Yeah,
Absolutely
those
true.
Two things
Yeah.
are synonymous.
absolutely. But yeah, that's kind of the origins of that. Anything else that you have going on in your world musically?
Well,
Let's plug some stuff.
Yeah.
EP.
Oh yeah, you have your EP that's out.
I
Why
have
don't
my
you talk
EP
about that?
that's out called Rebel Ways.
Yeah.
Yep, that's got some cool songs on it. You should listen to that
Yep.
Listen
with
to
your
it.
ears.
Yeah.
And then I put out a song with a cool chick named Harper O'Neil.
We love
That
Harper.
song. All right. First of all, I heard the first time I heard that song was on your playlist.
Oh yeah.
So that song's on the Raise Rowdy new playlist or
Say
new
the
country
word.
playlist.
Yeah.
It's called
Yeah,
Say
see?
the Word. We're singing it this week at the basement,
Oh, that's awesome.
When is that?
Wednesday. I'm
Is
gonna
that for
hop
her
up.
show or?
Yeah, it's her and her friend Meg
McCree?
McCree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna do a set, and then she just wanted me to come up and do that one. So
Oh, that's great.
if
That
you're in
song
Nashville,
crushes, man.
yeah, thank you, dude. What else do I have?
I didn't know that Harper. I guess I didn't know she can sing with such soul like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I need to just do my homework on Harper's music.
Yeah,
She's
we had
a soul
her.
singer.
We had her play. Remember when we were doing those Mulehouse shows? We did like literally 2 of.
Yeah.
Harper played one of those, and I remember Charlie being like, "Her vocal and her look don't exactly match, just because her voice is so big and soulful."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
She looks like a country girl.
she's just like
She's
you know,
Texas soul.
yeah, it's Texas
She's
soul
the
too.
Texas soul, baby. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
I was
Alright.
like, ever since I've known her, I knew her voice. So like, I didn't have that in my head, but
Mm-hmm.
like for Charlie just showing up, he's like, "Dang."
Say the word.
And I always remember like Meg actually and Harper both didn't have music out at that time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, these two girls are both like so good. It's just like no one had heard them yet outside of town, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's super cool to get to like see artists where you're like, oh, that's going to be a thing.
Yeah,
you know, now
for
it's
sure.
starting to like, you know, flourish and blossom for
Mhm.
them, which is amazing.
Yep.
And they got a song out together.
Yeah.
Thelma and Louise, is that right?
Yeah.
The title? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, y'all need to listen to that, especially the Alex tune and Harper. So
Yeah.
the song's awesome, man.
Thanks, dude.
I was just like, because when I go for runs, like I put that playlist on to check out like what new music's out. Because you save me the trouble of having to look for stuff.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. So if you want to hear what's cool and what's new, just go check out Nick's playlist. It's called,
Raise Rowdy New Country. Easy.
and I love doing that because it's like, it's all hits. You know, it's like everything's great. Some of it's not for me, of course, not 100%. But I heard that song, I was like, what?
Thanks for sharing it, dude.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I always say like our playlist is a good playlist to go to make your own playlist from, right?
Nice.
So like you'll hear a lot of the new stuff that comes out. It lives on there
Mm-hmm.
for a couple months, and then we kind of rotate through. But I cast a net wide enough where I would hope that there are a few songs that aren't your favorite songs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Just because everybody likes different stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you like keep track of that? How do you know what's going on everywhere? Tell us your secrets.
That's listen a lot.
Nick should work for his own record label. And I was gonna say, I'm not gonna go there too much, but he should be an A&R guy. I mean, like Rob says this all the time. You know, I think Nick's got a great ear, and I took ear training classes, and I do that. But your ear's different than mine, and there's been so many times where you're like, this is going to work. This person's a star. And I'm like, I don't get it. And then later on, I'm like, okay, you were right. You know?
That's awesome.
So
That seems like a very valuable skill to have.
Yeah.
I think, man, Nick, we got to get you in a writing room, man.
Oh gosh, that would be aggressive.
At the end, he
Me
just
and
comes in
Rob
at
wrote
the
a
end.
third of a song when I was going through a heartbreak, and we really didn't write song. We just smoked a lot.
Yeah,
of pot.
smoke weed, yeah.
But God bless Rob for helping
Yeah.
me with some
Rowdy
therapy.
Rob?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But God bless Rob for that therapy session. You know.
Yeah. He's good for that.
He
Yeah.
showed up on the boat. I didn't know he had an alter ego.
Oh,
And I
rattlesnake.
was like, "What's up, Rob?" He's like, "This ain't Rob." Like, what the fuck is going
He's
on?
got the wig on and everything.
Yeah.
Kurt's the one that told him to make sure he brought that on the trip.
Well, I texted him that, and he didn't
Rattlesnake
respond.
what?
And like, because usually he always, if I text him, he responds. And I'm like, oh, he must, I don't know. He must not have thought it was funny or something. And then I saw him in the hallway. I'm like, oh, he had already planned it before I texted him. And he didn't want to ruin the surprise.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And he
that
got me
was badass.
saying, what did he sing? Toby
Yeah.
at the jam.
Yeah.
Damn, that jam was fun. That was the best.
It was.
Oh, that sounds blessed.
I mean, speaking about hearing all the new music, it's just like Nick hosts all these writers rounds, so he's like constantly listening to stuff and meeting artists and talking to them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good way to find what's popping.
Absolutely
the
is.
rounds are crazy. When I moved here, I didn't realize that was such a big thing.
Yeah.
The songwriter rounds.
It's so cool too because you kind of hear trends in music before you'll hear them on streaming, right?
Yeah, because
And
a lot
then-
of it's stuff people just wrote that they're
Yeah.
just trying out.
Yep.
That's fun to do.
Super cool.
Yeah.
My favorite is when you hear a writer write a song that they just got put on hold, because they're like, just got this one on hold with,
So they're excited
Cole
about it.
Swindell or whoever it is. And even if it doesn't come to be, it's just like another moment in their career where it's like gives them the
Yeah.
more drive to keep driving forward.
Yeah,
which
the
is cool.
hold is a milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's cut. And then it's,
Number one.
yeah, exactly. And then it's,
Yeah.
all right, how many of those can we stack?
Yeah.
But it's super cool to get to see artists too, like get to see their voice change. Like you'll see an artist that moves to town and they don't know how to sing their voice yet. They have a great voice, but they don't really know what to do with it yet.
Gotcha.
And then you get to watch them get their reps in and they really understand how they should be singing or how they are singing, I guess. I don't know if they should be
their
singing.
their artistry grows.
Yeah.
Which makes
Yeah.
it easier to write, which makes it easier to sing, which kind of everything just kind of
Yeah.
snowballs.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And that just becomes with just not just music, but
Right.
just life. you
Yeah.
know? Once you start feeling like a sense of self, you're like, this is what I want to say. This is how I want to say it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? These are my influences.
And it's funny watching like literal kids come to town too sometimes. Like they're like 18, 19. Like Carson Wallace is a kid that I heard play for the first time. He popped up at the Blue Water Polarized golf tournament that I was hosting the after party of. And he was 19. And I was just like, damn, this kid's good. And then now watching where he's grown from there. And, he just signed a publishing deal. He's, major management. And he's like 20 years old.
Carson Wallace.
Yeah. Yeah,
Check
he's
him out.
great. He's from Texas.
Sweet.
But it's just cool, like getting to be at that front line, seeing like the first time I heard Shelby Ray play, I was like, "Who is this girl? Like her voice is insane," So
That's fun.
it is, man. It's like in Pittsburgh, of course, there's artists, but like it's a different thing here,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the big leagues in here.
Yeah, this is where all of the best artists from everywhere come to like really hone their craft, which is awesome.
And you were talking about earlier about how you were not really writing the songs that you wanted to, and you were kind of not doing the Texas soul thing before. What did that look like, and how did you kind of hone in on your own artistry?
What happened was I just wrote one song, and there was that song "Crying in the Rain," because I had people in my ear. Look, you gotta go country. Like you just go down the middle, get a song on the radio. You're like, you know what I mean? Just go country. And I was like, that's no.
Yeah.
But I tried. I was like, I'll give it a shot. Because I come from, my granddad was a country music singer and songwriter, and everybody in my family
It's in
loves
the blood.
it's in my blood, you know what I mean? And so like I love country music. And there's songs on my record and then on my EP that are country songs. It's just the way that I sing it ain't like
Well, I mean, Ray Charles sings country.
Yeah, I love that Ray Charles, the country
Yep.
and western record.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I think had people telling me and I was listening too much of what other people thought I ought to do and not what I really want to do. And when I was alone in my little barn in Bellevue, I was writing the songs that I really wanted to. And then luckily I got to share it on social media, and it's on TikTok it started translating, so I was like, this is what the people want.
Yeah.
Give them what they want, you know what I mean? And so that's what I was really wanting to do. So it was such a blessing that a country song, I guess, didn't blow up on there. Otherwise,
Might be a different thing.
like a radio country. When I say country, I mean like
I'm picturing you like writing like a FGL style song or something.
oh, I've done it. Oh, I got them.
I'd love to hear
They're
that.
in the catalog, just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when FGL gets back together, they'll cut your song.
Cruise Volume 2.
Yeah. Electric Boogaloo.
No, but honestly, you have a distinct look, right?
Thank
like
you.
you dress like you, right? Like I assume, but but like I think that's important too. Is like when someone sees you, they need to like. You can kind of tell when a person's an artist. You know what I mean? Like little things you'll pick up maybe. And yours, like you, every time I've seen you, you're dressed in a way where I'm like, okay, this is how this person is, Alex Lambert. You know, and then your vocal is of course extremely distinct, which is in my opinion, one of the biggest things on a playlist or on the actual radio. If you don't know, once you know that person's music, you need to be able to tell that it's them, right? And I think that is all day for you.
Thank you so much. That's how like, all my favorite artists are as well. You hear them, there it is.
There it is. Yep.
Yeah. You know, I think when I was living in Texas, I was running a real estate business, and I I'm just like noting back to about my like clothes and my look and stuff, and I was like dressing nice to like whatever. And I was like conforming, and I felt like my soul was just like leaving my body more and more every day. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to go after this music thing after COVID hit. And I said, I'm just going to dress exactly how I want to dress and do exactly what I want to do because life's so short. And why not just be you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like wearing old clothes and.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's being unique, man.
Man, that's it. Yeah, it's figuring out what you want to do. I struggle with stuff like that too. It's almost easier to like point other people in directions than it is to like see it yourself. It's like, who do I want to be and what do I want to say?
Exactly.
You know, and on a podcast, I get a chance to do that. But it's your whole thing. It's who you are when you're around everyone. You know, and I'm not even like an artist, but it's I think that's a big part of the thing being a musician too, and well specifically like an artist is like having your vibe so that when someone sees you, they can kind of translate that as well. And I think you have that for days, dude.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, man. We're having fun with it.
Yeah.
Nick has like a little artist checklist that you always talk about if it's like your little gauge if an artist has it or something.
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's stuff we talked about. So it's a distinct sound. So like when you hear that person, do you know it's them, right? Because there's a lot of people that sound the same. So you have to stand out in the crowd. The songs have to be there, right? If the song quality is not there, it's not going to work, right? You can have the best voice in the planet. If you're just singing bad songs, it's not going to pop. And then it's the it factor, which could be anything. That's the one that's like kind of variable. So like that could be a specific style of how you dress. It could be how you hold yourself in a room. It could be distinct look, something like that. And then it's oh gosh, which was the fourth one? It's
I'm forgetting.
Oh, viral moments. So now it's viral moments. It wasn't always, but like it's having that moment where your thing gets the spotlight, right? So right now we're in the time where it's like a lot of that's happening on TikTok. But like for example, like Luke with Vine, Kane Brown with like YouTube and Vine. Like for years it was whatever was on the radio would be the stuff that would get it, or it could be TRL from back in the day, like on MTV. But it's whatever gets that spotlight to shine on you. We're at a blessed part of the music world right now where you can, as an artist, help shine that spotlight on yourself.
That's right.
Previously, it was really gate kept, and by good gatekeepers probably, but now you can kind of bust that door open,
Yeah, for sure. It's a blessing that we can all just like set our phone up and potentially get like millions of views on it.
Yeah.
If it goes right.
Yep.
I know, it's wild.
It's
the crazy part is just like how much you do, like everyone does. It's like I feel like the number has increased so much that it's like we're just all feeding the freaking algorithm.
Yeah.
It's cool though. It is a blessing, and I don't want to like look at it in a negative way. It's just like,
we can talk negatively about social media if you would like.
Yeah, but
okay, I want to do that.
No, it's a safe place to hate on TikTok. Absolutely.
Like everything, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. It's equally as good as it is bad.
Yeah. And I always tell people too, like when I'm talking to artists, I'm like, you have to figure out what part of your life you're willing to share with these folks, right?
Yeah.
It can't be all of it. It'll be overwhelming. But if you pick 3 things or 4 things out that make you, like Kurt loves coffee. So I was like, if you were an artist, you could share that every morning. What's your coffee of the day thing on your story, and that's the thing, right?
I like coffee too.
Yeah,
Same.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that could make you connect with folks. But like, what are those couple things that make you that you are willing to share? Because that's part of it too. It's like, as in the public part of life, like what private things are you willing to give to people?
That's like something I definitely struggle with, because I'm like a pretty private person when it comes to like my girlfriend, my brothers, my family. I don't like posting about family stuff. I'm just like, I'm here to like post my music and share my gift, and but y'all don't need to know about, what I mean, what we did at Thanksgiving or whatever it is. But Yeah, you know what? But I think the biggest thing is, like you were talking about, fashion, the music itself. I think my instrument is something that I've really started to figure out my art on, like who I am, my voice on the guitar. But then I think looking at social media as another another art form, and kind of creating your art through that. It's crazy though, because you get into this thing, you're like, I'm gonna be a singer, I'm gonna do shows, and I'm gonna go on tour, and then you're like, I didn't know I was gonna learn so much about tripods and lighting and cameras and aperture, and I'm just like, why am I like, how am I supposed to be a cameraman and a freaking video editor and a digital
and your own accountant? And
everything. But it's
CEO.
It's fun though. It's fun. It's once you get past the learning curve of everything, it can be a joy. But some days I'm just like, the last thing I want to do right now is set up a camera and play music. You know what I mean? But it's like, you have to, you have to.
We had Laney Wilson on, and that was one of the ones I always go back to.
Yeah.
She was like, man, I've just been pushing on TikTok, like literally scheduling like 8 hours, days where I'm just doing TikTok stuff,
Yep.
And then magically it started pushing even further, like once she really focused on that. But then the other part is like, if you can get a good creative video person to like help you with that, you know what I mean? Yeah, like that's so powerful.
Yes.
Because the aesthetic, how it looks, how it's lit, all of that's important.
Yeah, it's higher quality videos are starting to do better too.
Yeah.
It used to be just like
only
shittier,
phones, the
shittier the videos, like it was more like natural for people to just be like, oh, this is chill. This is just a guy with his iPhone.
Yeah.
Now it's like the high quality stuff is starting to do really good. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, no one really knows. And
no one
I mean,
knows.
TikTok could fall tomorrow and it's a totally different app that has all different things.
Yeah.
But I think the process is being willing to pivot for whatever that thing is, right? Like whatever you think you could do to help push the needle forward in a big chunk. And that's what I mean by like viral moments.
Exactly.
Is like that could be a show, right? It could be you're out with the Jonas Brothers and that happens, right? And there's a crazy video of that goes. It could be
American Idol.
Things. Yeah, absolutely. It could be American Idol.
American Idol.
Yeah. It just depends
it's
for
worth
everyone.
it. Yeah. It's worth it if you really love this thing.
Yes.
And you really love music and you love to get up every day and be an artist, because it ain't for everybody.
No.
And that's okay, But it is sometimes you got to do stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah. And there's so many artists or singers or people that love music that don't want to push, right? And that's fine. It's not for everyone. If it was, then
they don't got
everyone
that
would do
dog
it.
in them.
Yeah, you got to have that dog.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No, it's true though.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's like at the end of the day, when stuff gets tough, that's when you have to push twice as hard. When,
we're all entrepreneurs.
Yeah, everyone.
You know what I mean? The entrepreneurial lifestyle is not for everybody. You know what I mean? Especially folks that just like wanted to go to college, get a good degree, get a nice job, and just chill. It's like, nah, there ain't no chilling. We're like I'm working. Like my manager will be like, oh, it looks like you have the day off. I'm like, dude, I don't have any days off. There's like when I have a day off, it's like I'm doing stuff still. I'm like on my phone and I'm shooting content and I'm engaging with the fans and I'm writing when I really am off, I'm writing new songs.
Yeah.
That's really what I do when I'm off. So
it's one of those things too. Like I don't have songs, but like creative stuff strikes me in batches, right? So I have to kind of be in that mind space. And the heavier my workload is on the day, of course, it's harder to get into that creative space. I have to almost segment time for downtime, then creative time. And sometimes I can't get any creative stuff out of that. And you circle back and go through it. But it's, and that's just me making freaking memes and silly stuff like that, So it's, I love having some work that's transactional though.
For sure.
Because like there's something to be said about having something that you can say is complete and a task that is done, right?
Feels good.
Yeah,
great.
feels
Yeah,
good.
that feels really, really good.
On this thing more than anything I've ever done myself, I just feel like you could push unlimited and there's so much more to push all the time, right?
Like you release a new song, promote it for a week, and then you're just like, all right, we got to start getting ready for the next one. It's like don't never end. And these guys on tour, I can't even imagine what that feels like. Just
crazy.
Like, tomorrow we got to go do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
fun
a
though,
grind,
man.
but
Yeah,
it's
it
a
is
fun
fun. It is
grind.
fun.
Well, the part when you're on stage is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The waiting around for it, not quite as much, but
Yeah, being in the van at 8 a.m. after playing till 11, and yeah, that part's. I mean, that's what I do, but
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I want
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I have never really been on tour yet, so
That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, I know. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you have a nice van, at
and
least.
a good
Probably
band.
won't,
yeah.
but yeah, and a good band. Oh,
Yeah.
you gotta have a good band.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah.
Especially I think with the music you do, like the bands needs to kick butt.
You got to have a
Yeah.
different group than your usual
Yeah.
stuff. It's like you're looking for. It's not like rock players that are now playing country. You're looking for like jazz players that can play some soul music or something.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, like in Dallas, all my like band is like they're amazing because they can play. They're all jazz guys that went to like UNT and stuff, but they can
Great
play
school.
parts. Because a lot of times you'll be like, "Hey, you want to play keys in my band?" and it'll turn into like a Robert Glasper show.
Freedom jazz dance. Or
Yeah,
something.
because they're just so free. So it's like there is definitely like a little niche-y. It's a niche type of playing that a lot of people probably don't make a lot of money playing it.
Yeah.
So that's why there's not a lot of guys doing it, especially in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, it was like I was not doing my homework as much, like especially before I went to Nashville, and just kind of fucking off a lot more. And because I'm so used to playing improvisational, improvising more, and so it's like then you get on the gig, it's like, no, you can't. Don't play over the vocal, you idiot. Like, what do you know what I mean? So it's like I had to learn that. I had some producers yell at me when I first started doing sessions and playing in bands and stuff when I got here, which is funny.
That is funny.
But that's like everything. It's about growth throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that Michael Jackson, "We Are the World."
Yeah.
Did y'all see that? It was on Netflix.
I hadn't watched it.
Yeah,
I
he
heard
was
about
like,
it.
he was like, no, it's like he goes to the keyboard player. He's like, I want it to be just like the record, and he's like mimicking how the rhythm of the playing was. And the guy's like, wait, what? He's like,
Oh,
he
yeah,
wants
he's
it
a
to
freak,
sound
man.
just like.
Yeah.
You can't just be making your own parts up,
Yeah.
Well, like James Brown would arrange the horns, but he would just sing the parts because he didn't know how to like write music.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
And then he would and then mid song he would like point at dudes, and that meant like he was docking their pay.
Yeah.
Because they like he would be like dancing, and then they would like mess up a part, and he would like point at them, and it was like
Yeah, you just lost $50 so you played a wrong note.
probably back then like $1 off.
Yeah.
Just lost $1.
Some guys run their bands that way, man. Like Prince, I think, was also pretty strict with that kind of stuff. But James Brown was notorious for it. Like he was like a dog. Like you didn't fuck. Like Buddy Rich, his band was that way too. I think it was like if you messed up, it's like you lost money. Like you didn't get paid as much.
So crazy.
Which what's like having that hang over your head. I'm like that would make me mess up more. You know?
Yeah.
What's that drumming movie where it's like super intense? Maybe
Miles
it's like
Teller
that.
or whatever.
Oh no, Whiplash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
The jazz world is like, it's so much more cutthroat. Like you go to jams and they'll call tunes in weird keys to throw you off, or let's play this song. Okay, I know the one. Let's play it in 7 instead of 4. You're like, fuck. Okay, fine. But you go to Bluegrass, they're like, I don't know that song. They're like, oh, it's so easy. It's just like G and then D. That's it. And here's the melody. And they're like, you got it? I'm like, yeah. Okay. And they're like, all right, let's jam on and have fun.
Yeah.
It's like a lot more like wholesome.
Different vibes.
Yeah.
Well,
That's cool.
jazz people are like more meticulous type people
Yeah.
in general. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're people that are gonna make like the perfect coffee.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Bluegrass people are Folgers people.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
jazz is like James Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Heard
great
that.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes the world go round. All kinds of different
I
music.
know. Yeah,
I
true.
love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I go through different moods. But when I went to my first Bluegrass jam, everyone was so nice. And it had all the cool, like everyone's playing their asses off. It's awesome. But the music just moved me more. All the vocal harmonies and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I found my people here. So
That's important.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
is.
how do you feel when you're doing it?
it feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
they were high.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that high
Everyone
lonesome
was so
sound.
nice.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Everyone was just vibing out.
I went to the the picking party.
Oh, full moon picking party.
Yeah, have you been
Yeah.
to that?
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that thing is lit.
It's
I
so
felt
much
so
fun.
out of my element though. I don't know nothing about bluegrass, and I was like, everyone was like picking fiddles and stuff. And
Yeah. So it's a party out at, is it Percy Warner?
Yeah, Percy Warner.
And it's like a big field, and it's $10 to get in. You get 2 beers.
It's $10 if you have an instrument.
And then if you bring an instrument, you get a discount.
Yeah.
So I went and brought my dobro, and then there's just like different groups of people jamming. And my buddy Nate, the drummer, I just gave him a mandolin case, and he just brought it to get the discount, you know? And you just go and you walk over to a group with your guitar or fiddle or whatever, dobro, jam, and then, all right, you walk over to the next one, and it just kind of like, it's just a cacophony of people jamming and drinking beer. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
In the fall, I think it's like October time.
Yeah. I was just there with my mom. She was in town, and we like drove past it, and I was like, let's go see what this is.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool.
it's a good hang, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
That's what I love about this town, too. I was like sitting there. I was like, dude, this is so lit. Music City. I fucking love music.
I know, man.
I was like, I love music. I live in Music City. This is great.
It's a cool place.
That simple. It is a very cool place.
So cool. There's so many moments where you're just like smiling at random times because like where else does stuff like that happen? Not often, many other places.
I know.
Yeah. True, man. Well said.
Well, why don't you tell us where we can find you on social media?
All right, you can find me on the internet. You
Yeah.
can find I'm on there,
Yeah.
and you can get me on Instagram. I'm Alexander Adventure. I used to think I was going to be a travel vlogger, so I'm Alexander Adventure on there. On Instagram, I'm Alex Lambert Music on TikTok, and you can just find me on YouTube. I think it's just Alex
Lambert.
That's me. I think that's who I am. And then all the other places, Twitter or X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever they call it now.
Yeah, catch me outside, you know.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Spotify, you can find me on there. Go follow me on there. That's what mostly I'm
I need
about.
to do that. I just got Spotify, and I don't follow anyone. You're going to be my first follow.
I made Kirk get it. He was like, I should really get this. I'm like, bro, you're not poor. Just get it. It's $10.
I know. I just was going
changer.
with iTunes because it pays the artist better. It was like
Yeah.
a moral thing. But like Crabtree is always sending me music. It's always Spotify.
The algorithm. The Apple algorithm isn't as good at picking my brain as the
I know,
Spotify
but
one.
Apple algorithm showed me Mike and the Moon Pies.
Oh, yeah. that's
So
great.
thank you, algorithm. There,
When I had
Silverado.
Apple Music, I felt like no, never mind. I'm not going to say anything about it.
Fair enough, man.
It was great. Apple was great. I just like all my friends had Spotify and was like sending me music same. So I was like, yeah. It just felt cooler too, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, this makes me feel good when I play when I'm looking for music.
Yeah, that's how I listened to your music the first time. So
I have Apple too, so I can listen to Spatial.
it's
Oh,
cool.
cool.
I
It's
just like
for
put
some
my
things.
earbuds in. I just have the earbuds. I don't have like a house thing, but man, it's great.
Wait, what is up with that? Aren't people having to mix music differently too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What,
Casey Musgrave, he told me
Dolby
I got
or
it because of him. He was like, "Bro, you need to do this." And then Casey
Wait.
Musgrave's albums.
I got to tell the story about how I found Atmos.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I had Apple AirPod Pros, and not to brag or anything. And I got them for Christmas.
money.
Yeah, well, I got them for Christmas. And I had eaten an edible, and I was in my bunk, and I'm like, I'm gonna go listen to some weird shit tonight. I'm gonna find something new. I'm not just gonna put on the same White Pony, like shit I listened to when I was in high school. And so I was going through my Apple Music playlist, and I was like, Atmos playlist or whatever, or spatial audio playlist. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna check this out. And I hit play on something, and I thought my phone was playing without my headphones connected, and because it didn't sound like it was in my ears, it sounded like the music was in the bunk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So I took my ear out, and it quit playing, and I was like, oh. And then I Googled what I was doing, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. And then I was like, I got to find something that I know what it sounds like so I can see if I like this or not. And I remember I listened to the Casey Musgraves, and I listened to Candace Smith had a song in there, and the Casey thing, I liked it. It was cool. But the Kanan, the more the rock sound, it was like the wall of sound is like taking the wall and moving it around you, but it didn't quite work as well for me, I think.
I think it's how they produce it too. Because sometimes you can feel the drums like almost like behind your head.
Whoa.
It's like you're sitting in the middle of the room that it was recorded in, virtually.
It's like
you know?
it's like a guitar amp is like just sitting on the floor next to you.
Yeah, it's
And
neat.
but then the bass is over there, which is cool for some stuff. But like, if I'm listening to System of a Down, like I don't want to hear regular.
Just
Yeah.
want
But-
all in one place.
Yeah.
But if I'm listening to like Scheherazade, and I'm getting
Yeah.
into some classical music stuff, I'm like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
That
at the
sounds cool. Y'all
Skirmer
are making
horn.
me want to get it.
So that's a good reason to have both.
Is that you just because you got the pros? As long as you have the pros, you can do it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple of the different non-Apple earphones that work with it too, but the regular big ones like these, like the cans, and then the
Pub,
Pro,
yeah.
earbuds.
I was down at Fame doing a session recently, and they were building a Atmos room.
Yeah.
You gotta come down to Fame, dude.
I would
Yeah,
love
we
to
gotta get.
record
Well,
at
we're gonna
Fame.
get this worked out. That'll be fun. Just go hang for a couple days.
Do a Muscle
Right.
Shoals record.
Yeah, dude. You
I
have
want
to.
to do a record. I want to record a full album.
That's the place to do it,
I
man.
know. Yeah. I love Wilson Pickett,
Oh,
Aretha,
that's the spot.
Allman Brothers.
I was cutting
love-
steel in there, the same place in the same studio where she sang the vocals to Respect.
Wow.
Crazy.
Crazy,
That
dude.
is crazy.
That's we'll get you down there.
That
It's
picture
2.5
cracked
hours.
me up. You sent me.
Oh yeah, Alex was. He's like, I'm trying to find some more guys at Nashville to play with, and they had the
Like the house band for Fame.
yeah
The guys that played on all the Muscle Shoals.
yeah.
records.
What do they call them? It's Mr. Shoals. They have the Swampers. I had to sing Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah, the Swampers.
You sent me- It was like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah, they have them put up in there in the gift shop or whatever. Hell yeah.
Well, God bless the Swampers.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll get you down there, and we'll talk to Spence. He's the studio manager, and we'll cut a record down there. That'd be fun. And we'll get Rob to help out and write some songs.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you guys so much for having
absolutely.
me. This was fun.
Yeah.
It's been great to get to know you a little more.
Yeah,
you know?
likewise, dude.
Absolutely. Appreciate you spending your time here on a beautiful Monday night with us.
There's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah.
That's right. Except for on that boat again.
Yeah,
Jim.
maybe back on the yacht.
On the
Yeah.
yacht, yeah.
God,
Thanks,
it
guys.
Feels good to say
All
yeah.
right, brother.
Well, cheers, guys. I'm Nicky T.
I'm Kurt Ozon,
And we'll see you in
on
the
the
front
front row.
row.